Hi guys, we're back again. We've had a lot of input into this story so far. We have started with our describing the character, we've done our flashback, we've described the scene, we've done our build-up. So what we're looking at today is we're looking at 5 and 6, the problem, entering the storm, and then the resolution, what happens after the storm. Now this is your story, these are your ideas. I'm going to give you some input today, but I think really what we need to do is look over the last few lessons as well, look at what we've done, go back over some of the stuff, have a look at the PowerPoint, which is in the link below. It is linked below in the description, the item description, so hopefully you've been looking at that as well. So what we're going to look at today is the problem, the entering of the storm, we're looking at the main problem or the main dilemma. Now, I've said it's entering the storm, but it doesn't have to be. I thought it would be, you know, getting to the eye of the storm, maybe going through the eye of the storm. Whatever you think the main problem is, or a big problem within this story, you can write about. So, is the main character worried about the ship falling apart? Do we see something in the distance coming towards him? Is it a welcome sight? Something that he's been looking for the whole time? Or is it dangerous? But this is a really good place for you to think about using those modal verbs. Modal verbs are things like could, should, might. So, using the modal verbs here, he knew he should turn back. But, you know, we can put that in there. He knew he should turn back. The ship was being pulled apart, but he also knew that he must go through. Or he could turn back at any point. So we've got could, we've got should, we've got might. So using those modal verbs here is really good. And again, if you want to use my sentence starters, if you want to start your new sentence, your new paragraph with he knew he should turn back, that's perfectly fine. But just have a really good think, go back to your plan if you want to, go back to your ideas at the start, the who, what, why, when, and really think about, really get to grips with what the main problem is or what the problem is currently. It's a dilemma, it's a problem, it's something that we're going to then solve, and we're going to carry on doing that today. So once you've looked at those modal verbs and you've put those modal verbs in there, then it's over to you. But if you can, and if you're a very clever writer, please remember the clue. What I want you to do is write the ending to the narrative, remembering to mention the clue we placed in earlier. Not places, placed. Look, I've made a mistake there. Everybody does. So what happens as he goes through the storm? What could be on the other side? Again, don't forget to use that punctuation. You can use a semicolon to join independent clauses that are equally important. The ship chased the storm to the centre. It had to get through. So these are both very important sentences, but we can join them with a semicolon. We could put an and there, the ship chased the storm to the centre and it had to get through. Again, I'm using some personification there. The ship obviously can't chase anything. The man or woman or alien or it or whatever it is going through there. But really have a really good go at the end of this story. Please, I'm going to mention this a bit in a bit as well, but don't end it in a rubbish way. Don't end it with it was all a dream. And certainly don't end it on a cliffhanger of or did he? Because that would just ruin the lovely writing that I'm sure you guys have been doing. So with the resolution after that, what happens after the storm? Does he reach his destination? Does he fulfill his mission? How can you end the story? Remember, you can end with a cliffhanger if you want, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But be careful not to fall in the trap of making it a dream or ending with or did he? They're not really cliffhangers. That's just a bit of laziness of, I can't be bothered doing that. So really think about the end to this story. Now, this isn't the end of our writing, because in the next video, we're going to be looking at writing a letter from the character, but I'll go into that a bit more detail. But this isn't the end. This is not the end. This is just the end of this part of the story. And I've also got coming up another project, which if you subscribe, you stay, keep looking online, you'll see that coming up as well. I think that's scheduled for Thursday this week, but if you're doing this out of order or you're doing it at a different time, then don't worry about that. Just keep going through the channel. There's a lovely thing on castles coming up that I'm going to be doing. Now, with this resolution, what happens after the storm? Does he reach his destination? Does he fulfill his mission? Whatever it is you've put in there, and if you can, if you're very clever, please remember to refer back to the clue. That's really important. And if you can do that, that's great. If you're going, oh no, I can't do it, don't worry too much. Don't worry about it at all. So, a bit of help with this resolution. Here's the last paragraph, or the last couple of paragraphs. As he entered the storm, he knew he was starting a new life. He was a happy man, happy because he had completed his life's work. He stood on the deck of the craft and breathed in the air, a smile curling at his lips. A large shadow crept over the ship, and it was at that moment he realised something had gone terribly wrong. Now, in that last paragraph, there is a deliberate mistake. I want you to see if you can find it, and if that means you read it more carefully, that would be great. But yeah, I'm ending my story there. It was at that moment he realised something had gone terribly wrong, and that leaves my reader thinking, oh, had he gone to the wrong place? Had he gone through the storm? Had he not gone through the storm? Had his ship fallen apart? Had somebody gone through after him? What was the shadow? Was it a larger dragon? Should he have kept the dragon there? I'm wondering all these things, but you don't need to tell the reader. You can leave them wondering. Now, some really good tips here to use would be some of the sentence imitation. So you can copy the structure of the sentence, but you can put your own stuff in. So here's 3 examples using yet. It was a warm day, yet storm clouds gathered over the distant mountains. Well, that's putting the comma there. Don't forget the comma, and then continuing on with yet. Or, the sun was still shining, comma, yet. The darkness of the forest was beginning to spread. Obviously, you can change it around. The sun was still shining, comma, yet the darkness above him continued to grow. So, that you could use that in there. Or the street was thronging with people, comma, yet in one small corner a young girl sat completely alone. Don't use these sentences, but use the sentence structure. Use the comma and then the yet. And what you're doing is you're telling me something here, and then you're telling me the opposite here. So, warm day, storm clouds, sun shining, darkness, busy, alone. So that's what you're trying to do, that juxtaposition, that opposite going on there. So really have a think about how you could use that sentence structure. And then 3 related adjectives. Hot, bothered, I'm going to start that again. Hot, bothered and exhausted. He slammed on his car horn and willed the traffic to move. So if you want to use hot, bothered and exhausted, comma, he stepped out of the chair and moved towards the front of the ship. Battered, bloodied and bruised, comma. Corporal Jones made his way back from the battlefield. If you want to use battered, bloodied and bruised, you can use that as well. Battered, bloodied and bruised. He crawled his way to the deck of the ship. Nervous, fretful and breathless, comma, Sam peeled open the envelope. Obviously you're not going to have peeled open the envelope, but nervous, fretful and breathless, and again you can say something about what has happened to him. Nervous, fretful and breathless, the ship entered the eye of the storm. The green glow surrounded him. So all of these lovely things for ending our story. But if you want to add and you want to up-level your work, go back through, maybe look at one of the previous videos and see the bits and pieces I put in there, or go and download this. It's free, it's in the link, it's all there as well. I'm going to leave you with a help sheet here. Remembering your connectives, so you can pause this and use this. Remembering your openers, they're all there, and I've even put the commas in there for you, really important. Remembering to look at adding in apostrophes for omission, but also apostrophes for possession. If you're going to include anything, so full stops, question marks and exclamation marks. So full stops here, question marks here, exclamation marks there, and just some rules for speech. If you are going to have him meeting someone, you are going to have him talking to someone at the end. You know, he could end up going through the eye of the storm and going back to his people, to his civilization, and maybe someone can speak to him. I mean, that would be a great cliffhanger, wouldn't it? He would go up, he would run up to somebody and go, I'm so glad I found you. Oh, I'm finally here. And they could turn around and go, I have no idea who you are, sorry. And that could be the end of it as well. So, I don't know, it's up to you guys. You've got to end it how you want to end it. Try and remember that clue. In our next lesson, we are going to be doing a letter from the guy, the person, the man, the woman, in the black with the cloak, the cape, and they're going to be sending a letter to somebody. Again, I'm going to give you lots of options with that, and I'm going to help you out with that. So our next lesson is letter writing. I hope you are having fun with these videos. I'm having a lot of fun making them. And just a reminder, if you are looking at this before the 3rd of April, then please, on Friday afternoon, there is a quiz going on. I'm going to be getting online. I'm going to be going live, and there will be a quiz going on for you to join join in with your family, with your brothers and sisters. It's for all ages. Make sure you share it. Make sure you tell people about it. It could be a bit of fun. Take care, guys. I hope you're doing well, and I'll speak to you soon.